Hey coin collectors and treasure hunters! Welcome back to Worth Coin, where we uncover the hidden value in your pocket change. Today, we're counting down the top 7 most valuable Lincoln Wheat pennies, along with their history, key features, and how much they're worth today. So grab your magnifying glass. Let's dive in. First up, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat penny is a fascinating coin that often sparks interest among collectors and history lovers alike. It was minted during a critical time in U.S. history, right in the middle of World War II. While it may seem like an ordinary wheat penny, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Let's explore its full story, from its design and background to its current value, and the factors that make certain versions of it more valuable than others. The Lincoln Wheat penny, originally introduced in 1909, was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it honors President Abraham Lincoln. The obverse of the coin shows Lincoln's profile, while the reverse features 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. This design continued until 1958, making the wheat penny a long-running and iconic part of U.S. coinage. Now, let's look specifically at the 1942 issue. By that year, the U.S. was fully engaged in World War II, and the government was already beginning to conserve materials for the war effort. However, in 1942, the penny was still made primarily from bronze, which was a mix of about 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This would be the final full year before the mint switched to steel in 1943 to save copper for ammunition and military equipment. The 1942 wheat penny was produced at all 3 major mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while the Denver coins show a small D below the date, and the San Francisco coins show an S. In total, over 950 million Lincoln cents were minted in 1942, making it a very common year. Specifically, about 657 million were struck in Philadelphia, 206 million in Denver, and around 85 million in San Francisco. Because of the high mintage, most 1942 pennies found in circulation today are worth only a few cents to perhaps $1 if they're in good condition. In circulated condition, most are worth around 5 to 25 cents. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong luster, minimal marks, and full details, can be worth significantly more. A mint state 1942 penny-graded MS-65 can range in value from $5 to $15, depending on the mint mark. For higher grades, like MS-66 or MS-67, prices increase. A beautiful red specimen in MS-67 from Philadelphia can reach up to $200 or more. Denver and San Francisco mint coins in high grades tend to be a bit scarcer, so they can command slightly higher prices among serious collectors. Next up, the 1938 Lincoln Wheat penny may not be one of the rarest coins in the Lincoln series, but it still carries plenty of history and value, especially for collectors looking to complete a full set of wheat cents. While it's considered a relatively common date, condition, mint mark, and certain characteristics can still make this coin more desirable and valuable than it first appears. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features Lincoln's profile, while the reverse has 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum at the top. This design ran from 1909 through 1958, and has become one of the most collected coin series in the world. By 1938, the Great Depression was still affecting much of the United States, but coin production had returned to relatively normal levels. That year, the Lincoln cent was struck at 3 U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a small D below the date, and San Francisco coins carry an S. In total, the Philadelphia mint struck over 156 million pennies, Denver produced about 20 million, and San Francisco added around 15 million more. These are fairly high numbers, so in circulated condition, most 1938 wheat pennies aren't particularly rare. In terms of value, most 1938 pennies found in everyday circulation are worth just a little over face value, typically between 5 and 25 cents, depending on their condition. If a coin is in average circulated condition with visible wear, it's still a neat historical piece, but not especially valuable. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with bright red color, minimal marks, and strong details, can bring much higher prices. A Philadelphia 1938 penny graded MS-65. Red might sell for $8 to $12, while higher grades like MS-66 or MS-67 can bring $40 to $150 or more. Denver and San Francisco coins in similar condition can fetch slightly more, especially if they're bright red and well struck. A 1938-D or 1938-S penny in MS-67 red can be worth over $200 to serious collectors, because top-grade coins are far less common than circulated ones. For collectors, color plays a big role in value. Red, red-brown, and brown are the 3 major categories used when grading copper coins. A full red coin, meaning it has retained its original mint color, is always more desirable than a brown one. Over time, copper tends to darken, and once that red luster is lost, the value typically decreases unless the coin is exceptionally rare or has a strong strike. Next up, the 1944 S. Lincoln wheat penny is one of those classic World War II-era coins that holds both historical significance and collectible value. At first glance, it might look like just another old penny, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. From its unique place in wartime U.S. coinage to the surprising value it can carry in the right condition, the 1944 S. wheat penny is a must-know for collectors and history lovers alike. Let's take a step back and understand the context. In 1943, during the height of World War II, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic change to the penny. To save copper for the war effort, they struck Lincoln cents using zinc-coated steel. These 1943 steel pennies are iconic today, but they caused problems. They rusted easily, and they were often confused with dimes. So, in 1944, the Mint returned to using copper. Specifically, they used recycled copper from shell casings collected from military training grounds. This gives the 1944 Lincoln cent, including the 1944 S, a special connection to the war. Many collectors even call these shell case cents because of that origin. The S mint mark below the date means this coin was minted in San Francisco. In total, over 282,001,944 S. Lincoln wheat pennies were produced, which makes it a very high mintage coin. That means it's not considered rare in general circulation, but that doesn't mean it has no value, especially in high grades or with unique characteristics. In average circulated condition, a 1944 S penny is worth between 5 and 25 cents. That might not seem like much, but when you get into higher grade coins, the value increases. A 1944 S penny in mint state condition, especially with a bright red color and strong strike, can be worth $5 to $25 in MS-63 to MS-65 grade. In MS-66, red, values often go up to $50 or more, and a top-quality example graded MS-67 red can sell for $150 or higher at auction. That's a big leap from face value, especially for a coin that's over 80 years old and once sat in millions of pockets. As always with copper coins, color plays a big role. Collectors divide copper coins into 3 color grades: brown BN, red-brown RB, and red RD. A full red 1944 S penny is worth more than one that has toned or darkened over time. That's why keeping coins in good storage and protecting them from air and moisture can make a huge difference in long-term value. Next up, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat penny is not just the last of its kind. It marks the end of an era in American coinage. It was the final year the U.S. Mint produced the iconic wheat reverse design, which had been in circulation since 1909. For collectors and history lovers, that alone gives the 1958 penny special meaning. But beyond the history, there are also some important facts about its mintage, value, and rare varieties that make this a coin worth looking at closely. Let's start with the design. The obverse of the 1958 penny features the familiar right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. On the reverse, you see 2 curved wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the Latin motto E pluribus unum at the top. This reverse design had been used for almost 50 years, and 1958 would be its last appearance. Starting in 1959, the U.S. Mint replaced the wheat design with the Lincoln Memorial on the back, in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. In 1958, Lincoln wheat pennies were minted at 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint struck around 252 million coins with no mint mark, while the Denver Mint produced over 800 million coins, each with a small D beneath the date. That's more than 1,001,958 Lincoln cents in total, making this one of the most common wheat pennies ever made. Because of this massive mintage, most 1958 pennies found today are not rare and hold only modest value in circulated condition. In average circulated grades, a 1958 or 1958-D penny is usually worth about 3 to 10 cents. These coins are common, and even nice-looking examples often show up in old jars or pocket change. But uncirculated examples in mint state condition, especially those with original red luster, can sell for more. A 1958 penny in MS-65 red grade might go for $10 to $20, while MS-66 examples can sell for $30 to $50. A top-grade coin in MS-67 red, especially if it's well struck and has strong eye appeal, can be worth over $100, particularly for collectors trying to complete a high-grade wheat cent set. One thing that makes the 1958 Lincoln cent stand out in numismatic history is a very famous and rare error: the 1958 doubled die obverse. This is one of the most valuable Lincoln penny varieties ever discovered. On this error, the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" show strong and clear doubling that can be seen without a microscope. Only a few dozen of these doubled die pennies are known to exist, and they're considered one of the holy grails of modern penny collecting. If you happen to find one, you're looking at a coin worth thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of dollars, depending on condition. Some have sold for over $100,000 at major auctions. So, If you have a 1958 penny, especially from Philadelphia, take a very close look at the lettering. If you notice anything unusual or doubled, it's worth having it checked by a professional grader. Next up, the 1935 Lincoln Wheat penny is more than just an old copper coin. It's a small piece of American history. Minted during the Great Depression, this penny reflects a time when even 1 cent held real value, and people were struggling to get by. Today, the 1935 wheat penny is a common find for collectors, but it still carries interest because of its age, design, and condition-based value. While it's not a rare date in the Lincoln cent series, the story behind it and its potential value make it worth a closer look. Let's begin with the design. The 1935 Lincoln penny features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. On the reverse, the coin displays 2 wheat stalks curving around the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top is the motto, E pluribus unum, a Latin phrase meaning out of many, one. This wheat reverse was used from 1909 through 1958 and is one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. In 1935, Lincoln cents were produced at 2 mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins do not have a mint mark, while the Denver coins feature a small D just below the date. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck around 245 million pennies, and the Denver Mint added approximately 47 million more. Combined, over 290 million Lincoln cents were made in 1935, so this coin is generally considered common. As a result, most circulated 1935 pennies are easy to find and affordable, but the value can vary based on condition, mint mark, and any possible errors. For coins in average circulated condition, a 1935 penny is typically worth around 5 to 15 cents. That means most of the coins you find in old jars or pocket change won't be extremely valuable, but they are still cool pieces of history. If the coin is in better shape, like lightly worn or about uncirculated, it can be worth more, often between 25 cents and a few dollars. The real value begins to show in uncirculated or mint state coins. A 1935 Lincoln cent in mint state 63 condition with full red color can be worth between $8 and $15. Higher grade examples, like mint state 65 or mint state 66, especially with bright red luster and minimal marks, can fetch $30 to $75 or even more. Coins graded MS67 red are quite rare for this date, and can sell for over $200 if the quality is exceptional. When it comes to copper coins like the 1935 penny, color matters a lot. Collectors grade copper coins using color designations: brown, red-brown, and red. A brown coin shows natural dark toning from age and wear, while a red-brown coin retains some of its original mint color. A full red coin, one that looks bright and fresh like the day it was minted, is always the most desirable and valuable. That's why a 1935 penny in full red condition can bring such a premium over a brown example. Next up, the 1957-D Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most common and widely circulated wheat cents ever made, but it still holds a unique place in American coin history. Minted during the final years of the wheat penny era, the 1957D is a coin that many people still find in old change jars or coin rolls. While it's not a rare coin, its value can vary greatly depending on its condition, color, and whether any special errors are present. Let's start with the basics. The 1957D penny features the same classic design that had been used on the Lincoln cent since 1909. On the obverse is the familiar right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner. This was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and it was introduced on the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see two wheat ears curving along the sides, framing the bold words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the Latin phrase e pluribus unum across the top. Now let's talk about the mint mark. The D beneath the date on this coin tells us it was minted at the Denver Mint. In 1957, Denver produced a massive number of Lincoln wheat pennies, over 1.05 billion coins, to be exact. That makes the 1957 D one of the highest mintage wheat cents of all time. Because of this, it's very common in circulated condition and is often one of the first coins beginners add to their collections. In terms of metal, the 1957 D penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams. This composition gives it a classic bronze tone, and over time, these coins tend to darken if not stored properly. Like all copper coins, the color is an important factor in determining its value. Collectors use three color grades: brown, BN, red-brown, RB, and red, RD. A red coin has most of its original mint luster, while brown coins have toned over the years. Red coins are the most valuable, especially in high mint state grades. Because this coin is so common, most 1957 D pennies found in circulation are only worth about 3 to 10 cents. That includes coins with moderate wear and no special features. However, uncirculated coins, especially those with a bright red color and sharp detail, are more desirable. In MS-63, red, a 1957 D penny is worth about $5 to $10. In MS-65 red, it can be worth $15 to $25. A top-quality example graded MS-66 or MS-67 red can sell for $50 to over $100, depending on eye appeal and market demand. PCGS and NGC have certified many 1957 D pennies in high grades, but finding one with perfect surfaces and full luster is still a challenge. Next up, the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most talked-about coins in American numismatics, not just because of its regular version, but because of a famous error that turned this coin into a legend among collectors. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned collector, the 1955 penny is one you should know about, and depending on what version you have, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Let's start with the regular 1955 penny. Like other wheat cents, the design features the classic right-facing bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday, and it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. On the reverse, you see the two wheat ears curving along the sides, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the Latin motto e pluribus unum across the top. In 1955, Lincoln cents were produced at two mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 330 million pennies, and these have no mint mark under the date. The Denver Mint produced over 563 million coins, and those carry a small D mint mark just below the year. The majority of 1955 pennies you'll find in circulation or coin rolls are from these two regular issues, and because of their high mintage, they are generally considered common. In circulated condition, they're usually worth around 5 to 15 cents. That makes them affordable for most collectors and easy to find. But if you have a coin in mint state condition, especially one with its original red luster, the value increases. A 1955 Lincoln cent, graded MS-63 red, can sell for around $10 to $20. In MS-65 red, it's worth closer to $50, and examples in MS-66 or MS-67 red can reach $100 or more, depending on eye appeal and rarity at that grade level. Now here's where things get really interesting. The 1955 doubled die obverse. This is one of the most famous and dramatic error coins in U.S. history. During the minting process at the Philadelphia Mint, a die was improperly manufactured with a doubled image. This doubling is extremely clear and visible to the naked eye, especially in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as the date 1955. It's not the kind of minor doubling that requires a magnifying glass. This one is bold, clear, and unmistakable. Thanks for watching.